This is Margaret Ann Windsor. That's my real name. And again, I have to tell this so you understand why I'm doing the video and how it connects. Um, I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 1941. I was brought to the United States, Lawrence County, Alabama, Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey, and I married a Childers. And Peggy and Carl, the twins, were born out of wedlock. The mother had killed them, so they stole my identity and gave me a dead girl's. And I grew up in a horror house. And I wrote a book on mind control. I started writing it in '76. And April Fool Day of '80, I was filled full of antifreeze. Should have died. Because all these things that have been done to me and the Brits have been nothing but a joke to everybody, most everybody. Here, there are some Americans that tried to help, but overall they hated my guts. And the press, I went to the press with all this, and they weren't interested in anything I had to say. The same thing went for a friend of mine who was a reporter. He had all this. Weren't interested in anything he had to say over the years, and he had a lot more than I did about the government. So I'll leave that because he's had people die. So I'm taking this because I went to Washington, D.C. I was living in the National Forest here. I got arrested for it. Of course, they leave out the part that my name's Margaret Ann Windsor and who my father is and what was done to my family. And I was brought here, and I don't know where my sons are, Mark and Scott. I haven't for a long, long time. So I wrote about mind control murders and had a letter from the FBI June the 23rd of '79, and then the antifreeze was put in me April Fool Day of '80. And that's just one of the times that almost killed me. But what I wanted to go to, I put all this on videos for over a year now, Facebook. But I beat the doors down when I had no money. I've been kept penniless. Besides the damage done to my brain in trying to recuperate and pretend that nothing had happened. Literally, my job shut down. I was on the side of the road, freezing, and that's the reason I came to Roanoke, or at least I thought it was, just to have a place to go on the Appalachian Trail and lie down, crawl into something. I did want to say this, too. The mind control murders, I keep mentioning Larry Flint because he was shot in nearby Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th of '78, and I was living in Marietta, Georgia. And he flew me out to his home in October '83 and helped me in a political campaign. The person that shot him in Lawrenceville was programmed to shoot Mr. Flint, and he killed his attorney. You didn't see any of that in the movie, but now I've put the magazine, the endorsement, and most of these videos, along with a lot of others. But anyway, that was a program murder, just like John Lennon, Mark David Chapman shot him. There's lists of them. What I wanted to get to right at the moment, because if anybody's interested, they can go back and look at it. The media didn't want it. None of them would. They knew about my kidnapping and the illegal takedown of my father and the total lies told about him and the takedown of the British Empire by illegal treaties when they kidnapped me and took my father down. The media is controlled by the Rockefellers, the very people that helped kidnap me. So I want to go to this. So I told about the mind control murders. They continued because the agency here in this country that's doing it did certain murders, mind control murders, in patterns. And they can be proven. But at this point, it's so convoluted. I don't know. So much has happened. I don't know if it will be or not. I've certainly told it. Even when I was so sick and it's unreal what's been done to me and how I've been made to appear, okay? How people respond to it. It's almost like I have the plague. I've said that years ago. But how I've been treated and the laws, the they call people terrorists. You should see what this country in plain sight did to me and my sons. My mom and dad loved me. I was kidnapped and abducted. So I want to this was what I was showing. I went up to D.C. and I went downtown D.C. and I was living in the National Forest off Mountain Pass Road here in Troutville, and walking and starving and freezing. I had some income then, and I paid a cab, the 61301, to take me up to Econo Lodge on Lee Highway, not far from the Anchorage motel that plays the name game, the patterns in this. That's where I finished, when I finished high school, my class trip stayed there. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because all that some people have to do, Channel 7, 10, and 13, is some people can call up the TV stations and they're Johnny on the spot, where I beat their doors down and they wanted nothing to do with me. And now then, what if this is finally told? I'm not just talking about these murders and what was done to me, some other stuff I wrote about that's in the news now. How are they going to explain it? The more that happens, the more they want to cover it up. But anyway, I came back. I went downtown and saw who I saw, and I came back. And on 61501, paid another $250 up and $250 back, so I didn't have anything left. I went to 9700 Lee Highway, Econo Lodge. The man that brought me back was cab number 83, Flip, Haddad. Brought me back to Mountain Pass, and this was Murphy Brothers Falls Church Yellow Cab. Okay, now then, the cab here was number 18, and I don't remember his name. But here is the response when I came back, one of the murders that happened, just like some other responses and patterns. Andrea Yates, Russell Yates' wife, and the Russell or Rusty is very important in this. But her name was Andrea Kennedy Yates, and she had 4 sons and 1 daughter. June the 20th, 2001, so what was that? I was brought back on the, what did I say, on the 15th. She drowns her children. She has been treated for mental illness. Mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. I can't believe that people are buying it. I can't. Well, you can Google it. The only person I know at this moment that's telling me anything about mind control is Clive Lewis on Ground Zero. He's a TV host. I'm sorry, radio host. Okay, I want to mention Susan Smith here because she's connected in this with I was arrested and jailed and for living in the forest and handcuffed, and you wouldn't believe what's happened to me. It's supposed to be a joke. But some of these things coincide with my going to jail, them locking me up, like the John Benet Ramsey. By the way, well, I won't get into that right now. But anyway, the Oklahoma City and the Waco, Texas, and this one. Well, this was a little later. But Susan Smith drove her 2 kids into the lake in North Carolina, and they drowned. Well, she drowned them. It just wasn't a tub, and she's in prison, and people hate her guts. How could you kill your kid? You know, it would be a horrible thing to live with. You love your children more than anything in this whole world, just like my parents love me, and I love my kids. But you know, I didn't count to anybody here. They have taken the cameras and they're going around, and I'm going to go ahead and say whatever repercussions, because that's all I've felt all my life for telling the truth. They're saying they're going around, and one of them's a mother of one of the girls, and I didn't mention her here. I'm not going to. But they